The night of the wrap-up party for the production, the rising A-list actress Alicia lost a game. It was truth or dare. She chose dare. She was told to give a French kiss to someone present for 3 minutes. Her gaze burned with anticipation as she looked toward the top-tier star Ethan. Ethan silently peeled shrimp, completely unmoved, while everyone else sighed at the tragedy of one-sided affection. Only I noticed the bulging veins on the back of Ethan's hand. Sure enough, before Alicia could even finish her first drink, Ethan suddenly stood up. This is insane. He grabbed Alicia and pulled her over. Because it was so sudden, their lips crashed into each other. Everyone around them froze. Then screams pierced the air. Only I sat there calmly, chewing the shrimp I had just put into my mouth. Of course, it's not that I don't love gossip, but if one of the people kissing wasn't my boyfriend of 5 years, whom I'd been secretly dating, I guarantee my scream would have flipped the entire room upside down. Chapter 1. As expected of 2 popular actors, the kiss was gentle, lingering, and full of emotion. 5 minutes later, Alicia shyly pushed Ethan away. She turned to me, who was sitting beside him, and explained, "Laura, don't misunderstand. Ethan knows I can't handle alcohol." Expressionless, I swallowed the shrimp and didn't bother responding. Dozens of men and women were present, yet Alicia singled me out to say don't misunderstand. Everyone there was sharp. One hint was enough. Rumor had it that top-tier star Ethan had a secret girlfriend, someone who stayed with him back when he had nothing, walking with him through his hardest years. Their bond was deep, but Ethan protected her well and never exposed her. The atmosphere gradually stiffened. Ethan spoke impatiently. "Why are you explaining anything to her? She's just a colleague from my company. She doesn't get to control me." He then glanced around the room. "It was just a game. Everyone laugh it off and move on. Right, Laura?" It was both an explanation and a warning. Alicia's face instantly went pale. She shot me a sharp look. So she did know about Ethan and me. Suddenly, the bowl of peeled shrimp in front of me felt painfully glaring. I quietly pushed it back to where it had been. Smiling, I replied, "Whether it was a game or not doesn't really matter. The ones who should care are your partners, not us." Then I added, "Sorry everyone. I have something to take care of. I'll be leaving." The filming was over anyway. I didn't need to hold back anymore. I'd seen enough of Alicia's acting, both on and off set. I had no interest in getting further entangled with her. But of course, some people just don't know when to stop. When Alicia chased after me, I paused, curious to hear what she wanted to say. "Laura, you know that I know, right?" I frowned. "Speak human language." Alicia's expression stiffened, but she held it together and didn't cry. Over this period of time, I truly learned what people meant when they said women were made of water. She took a deep breath. "I know you're Ethan's secret girlfriend." I raised an eyebrow. "And? But so what? Haven't you noticed over the past few months? He doesn't love you. You just appeared earlier in his life and happened to be there during a difficult time. Ethan values loyalty and promises. He doesn't have the heart to break up with you himself. I hope you'll have the decency to leave on your own." Her words actually made me laugh in anger. Are mistresses this arrogant nowadays? If you have the guts to steal my boyfriend, then have the guts to make him break up with me, at the very least. If you want me to break up, you could hand me a check. Or what? Just throw around words like love and expect me to back off. Alicia, you're not 3 years old. Can you stop being so childish? Laura, do you know why you can't compete with me? She looked at me with open disdain. Because you're spoiled, sharp-tongued, and never let things go. Men need a gentle confidant, not a domineering queen. You're honestly pitiful now, clinging to a man with nothing but old favors. I put away my phone. Having endured all this, it wasn't because I was weak. I simply didn't want any scandals to ruin the hard work of the entire production team. But that didn't mean I was someone who could be bullied. Whether I can compete or not, come talk to me again after you actually take my place. Right now, saying this just makes your position look ridiculous. Chapter 2. I changed my flight and prepared to head back overnight. While waiting to board at the airport, I received a call from Ethan. "Where are you? Andy just went to your room and said no one was there. Didn't you come back already?" Something came up suddenly. I went back first. "What could possibly come up for you?" We agreed we'd fly back together tomorrow. Since when did you become this impulsive? You even changed your flight without discussing it with me." He paused, then added in a tone that sounded like an explanation. "Are you still angry about tonight? I already told you, it was just a game. Alicia was hospitalized for acute gastroenteritis not long ago. Did you forget? I just didn't want her ending up in the hospital again over a stupid game." Forget? How could I forget? That day, because Alicia kept messing up her takes, I had jumped into an ice-cold swimming pool all afternoon in near-freezing weather. The one who truly forgot was him. He forgot how that night, burning with fever and barely conscious, I called him again and again, none of them answered. He forgot how I woke up alone in the hospital, only to run into him personally feeding Alicia. They were calm and composed. I fled in complete humiliation. Maybe my silence irritated Ethan. His tone grew increasingly impatient. "Why aren't you saying anything? As actors, kissing is just part of our job. Are you seriously going to make a fuss over something like this now?" I reminded him. "Ethan, life isn't acting. In a drama, you can kiss anyone, hundreds, thousands of times, but in real life, you can only kiss your girlfriend, your wife." Probably because he'd been drinking, I heard Ethan tug irritably at his tie. Anger slowly crept into his voice. "Laura, that's how normal people think. We're not normal people. A good actor can't possibly separate acting and real life that cleanly. You can't be jealous over everything. Once the show airs, there'll be post-production promotions. Are you going to make a scene again then? Hurry back. I'll treat this as you throwing a little tantrum. Otherwise, Ethan, who are you talking to? Why has it been so long?" Alicia's voice came through the phone. It wasn't loud, but I heard it perfectly. I glanced up at the clock in the airport terminal. 11 p.m. This wasn't the first time. They went shopping together, appeared in each other's rooms late at night, even answered each other's phones whenever I asked. It was for work. Whenever I got upset, it was because I was being unreasonable. Yet during nearly 3 months of filming, as his girlfriend, and as an artist from the same company, I had never once been alone with Ethan, let alone entered his room. If there was anything to discuss, it was phone calls, or messages relayed through his assistant Andy. So what protecting things well? It was never protection. It was simply indifference. "Ethan, why is Alicia in your room?" Is that Laura?" Alicia interrupted him. "I came to apologize to you. Are you angry about tonight? Ethan has been really worried about you." I laughed out loud. "Apologize to me? Then why did you go to Ethan's room? If you knew I'd be angry, why were you still hugging and kissing my boyfriend? Or what, someone else's boyfriend just hits different. Stolen ones taste better?" "I'm sorry, out of everyone there, I'm only close to Ethan." Her voice began to choke. "We're all actors. I didn't know you'd take it so seriously." I could easily picture Alicia right now. Fragile, pitiful, full of grievance. If I said a few more words, she'd immediately burst into tears, delicate and heartbreaking. And then Ethan would turn into her knight in shining armor, blaming me instead. Faintly, I heard Ethan comforting her, mixed with her quiet sobs. Suddenly, everything felt pointless. I didn't even know what I'd been holding on to anymore. The boarding announcement echoed through the terminal. I spoke 2 sentences into the phone. Then, whether they heard them or not, I turned it off and left. They were, "Ethan, let's break up," and "Alicia, congratulations. The trash I don't want anymore. You're welcome to pick it up." Chapter 3. Ethan and I once had very beautiful years together. Back then, I had just fallen out with my family and entered the entertainment industry in pursuit of dreams and freedom. But dreams are always grand, while reality is harsh. Every year, countless people chase their dreams. Aside from being good-looking, I had no outstanding advantages, and the one thing the entertainment industry lacks the least is beauty. So all I could do was practice harder than everyone else, dance more seriously, study acting more diligently. In the practice room, it was usually just me and Ethan, but he was different from me. He was professionally trained, the kind of person people said was fed by heaven itself. He was just unlucky. The TV dramas and films he participated in all failed to air for various reasons. So 2 disheartened people encouraged each other. supported one another, and together walked out of life's lowest point. Young love is always pure and intense. We shared interests and had the same goals. What started as mutual support naturally evolved into love through long companionship. At that time, we lived in company-provided apartments. Because of company regulations, to avoid suspicion, he would treat all colleagues to meals. Yet every dish was something I loved. I learned to make soup too, serving bowl after bowl to everyone when he came home late. We indulged ourselves in visions of a beautiful future. Every plan we made had the other person in it. But with sudden fame came waves of media attention, so we became even more cautious and secretive. Later, he bought a house, and I moved out of the apartment. We tacitly began a long-distance relationship. In the same city, he often said I was jealous, always questioning whether those rumors were true. But in the last few years of our relationship, I saw him fewer times than I did during just these few months of filming. I was grateful that I accepted this drama. It helped me see one thing clearly. When it comes to whether a man loves you or not, you shouldn't listen to what he says. You should look at what he does. A man who's already tainted. Just break up and be done with it. I encouraged myself. Since love was gone, then I'd work harder and focus on my career. Chapter 4. After resting at home for a few days and sorting out my emotions, I called my agent. Amanda, when does director He's drama start filming? Has the schedule been set? It was noisy on her end. After a while, she moved somewhere quieter and her voice came through. Did you offend Ethan while you were on set? I was confused. No. My relationship with Ethan had always been well hidden. Amanda managed more than just me, so I never told her. She had always thought we had nothing to do with each other. Then it can only mean that role was just too competitive. I got notified this morning. The company gave the role to someone else. Amanda lowered her voice. I know you put a lot of effort into this role and wouldn't accept it easily. So I tried to fight for you. But upper management told me directly Ethan personally requested the replacement. You know his status. Once he speaks up, the company has to give face. I asked around. The one replacing you is Alicia's close friend. Looks like the two of them are about to go public. Otherwise, Ethan never interferes in casting matters. I thought I would be furious, explode. But instead, I only heard myself say calmly, I understand. Thank you, Amanda. I knew exactly what Ethan meant. The price of leaving him was my career. He didn't want to break up, but he also didn't want to bow his head. Unfortunately for him, he didn't know me well enough. I treated being a star as a dream, not some grand life mission. Now that the dream had already come true, I had no reason to cling to it anymore. Just then, my phone rang. The moment I answered, I spoke first. If you want my help, you'll have to agree to one condition. Let me guess, did you make mom and dad mad again? Or are they forcing you on blind dates? Neither. Your adorable little sister might be unemployed soon. Dear brother, would you mind supporting one more freeloader? A low chuckle came from the phone. Deal. Your brother lacks nothing except problems. Money is more than enough. Come back for a visit. Your sister-in-law is throwing a tantrum at me. Yes, sir. I'll book a flight right away. I guarantee your personal love counselor will arrive by this afternoon. I threw away the SIM card that only had Ethan's number, sent Amanda a message telling her where I was going, then packed up and went home to live off my big brother. Chapter 5. After returning home for a few days, I stopped watching the news and stopped scrolling online. Every day, I was either out shopping with my sister-in-law or lying around at home playing video games. In the end, my brother couldn't stand it anymore and dragged me along to attend a banquet with him. After all, I still hadn't managed to help him win his wife back, so I could only resign myself to acting as his female companion. When my brother intentionally, or unintentionally, introduced me to the third promising young talent he knew, I finally snapped. Bro, since when did you change careers and become a matchmaker? My brother rolled his eyes at me. Your sister-in-law said the best way to forget a relationship is to start a new one. She assigned me this task. Honestly, you should be happy you got away from a man like Ethan. No responsibility at all. Why are you moping around all day? You're making your sister-in-law worry along with you. I lowered my head, feeling a bit embarrassed. Hesitantly, I asked, How did you guys know I broke up? With that hopeless romantic brain of yours, every time Ethan had a scandal, didn't it just take a few casual explanations for you to go running back to him? This time the rumors blew up: big airport photos, couple outfits, everything dug out, and yet you didn't react at all. The key point is, you haven't even been chatting on WeChat. Based on what I know about you, this means it's completely over. That's a good thing. After dating for so long, he still refused to go public and couldn't even keep himself clean. That kind of man is irresponsible. All that for-work nonsense is just an excuse. True love should be like how I treat your sister-in-law. Once I liked her, I chased her like crazy, made it known to everyone. Once she agreed, I met her parents, then married her. I couldn't help rolling my eyes in the exact same way. Here he goes again, bragging about his love story. This was also what he despised most about Ethan. But I felt people had different personalities. My brother had always been flamboyant. I grew up with him. I really didn't want my future partner to be like that too. Which was why I'd been attracted to Ethan's steadiness and attentiveness in the first place. Then why did you still manage to make my sister-in-law angry? I cut him off. I was genuinely curious. How did my brother, a certified wife-doting maniac, manage to upset her and fail to fix it for so long? Unfortunately, neither of them let anything slip. The rest of my brother's words got stuck in his throat, and he forcibly swallowed them back. A soft chuckle sounded nearby. Both my brother and I turned at the same time, staring at the source of the laughter. Fabian? You brat, why didn't you tell us in advance that you were coming back? To surprise you, you siblings are still just as entertaining as ever. I almost rolled my eyes again. Is that even a compliment? After hanging around my brother for so long, I never thought calling someone entertaining was praise. My brother, however, didn't mind at all. He walked up and gave Fabian a buddy-like pat on the shoulder. You're not leaving again this time, right? No, I'm preparing to gradually take over the company. That's good. We'll catch up later. I've got a mission today. I need to find a suitable partner for my sister. Fabian's gaze shifted from my brother to me. Miss Laura is still single? Fabian was my brother's childhood best friend. I wasn't close to him, but my brother was closer to Fabian than he was to me. So by the time I realized something was wrong, it was already too late. She just got dumped and is pretending to be depressed at home. Do you know anyone suitable? Introduce someone. If I hadn't been wearing a cocktail dress, I really would have wanted to scream at the sky. Do I have no dignity at all? As a freeloader, have I lost even my basic human rights? Fabian's gaze deepened. Then what does Miss Laura think of me? The moment he said that, my brother was overjoyed. I was horrified. Fabian had been someone else's child since childhood. His excellence didn't just traumatize people his own age. It traumatized several generations below him as well. I was one of the victims. Back then, whenever I heard Fabian was coming to see my brother, I'd hide as far away as possible. The childhood fear dominated by the name Fabian surged back. I shook my head like a rattle drum. Are you kidding? Fabian is basically a fox who's become human. If I got involved with him, wouldn't I be completely controlled? No chance of ever turning the tables. Unfortunately, someone thought very differently. My brother was practically beaming. Fabian, you actually like my silly little sister? If I'd known you had such low standards, I would have introduced her to you ages ago. Then he shoved me forward. I'll leave my sister to you. I'm going back to accompany my wife. Before leaving, he turned around and glared at me. Gigi, make the most of it. This is the highest tier resource around your brother. You're getting a bargain, without the slightest concern for my survival. He left with great flair. I clenched my fists at his retreating back, making exaggerated faces. When I turned around, I met Fabian's dazzling smile head-on. My heart skipped a beat, quietly. That face, when he smiles, it's dangerously seductive. Not entering the entertainment industry is truly a waste of talent. Fabian and I chatted awkwardly yet politely the entire evening. In the end, we exchanged contact information and went our separate ways. More precisely, he sent me home first, then went back to his own place. Chapter 6. I continued my freeloader lifestyle at my brother's place for a few more days before being summoned home by my parents, who had just returned from traveling. Coincidentally, Fabian, who had disappeared after we added each other's contact info, asked me out to dinner that evening. I declined, saying I needed to accompany my parents, who knew that not long after I arrived at my parents' house, my mom's phone rang. Just listening to her calling out Fabi over and over, I knew trouble was coming. Sure enough, the moment my mother hung up, she rushed me toward the door. Quick, quick, go back and get yourself ready. You silly child. Why didn't you say you had a date with Fabi tonight? Hurry up and go. Don't keep them waiting. Your dad and I don't need you to keep us company. If you can win Fabi over, I'd be smiling in my sleep. My dad snorted from the side. Which Fabi? Worth my daughter throwing herself at him? The Wu families. Fabian? My dad, who had looked unconvinced just a second ago, immediately stood up from the couch. Gigi, you actually managed to pick that high-end mighty flower, Fabian. They say a son bows his head to marry while a daughter raises her head to wed. I might finally get to show off in front of old Wu this time. As he spoke, he pushed me straight toward the door. Go, go, enjoy your dinner. It's fine if you don't come home tonight. I stared speechlessly at the door that slammed shut behind me. No one knew that my dad's words would turn out to be prophecy. Not only did I not come home that night, I moved out entirely the very next day. Chapter 7. When my sister-in-law's message came in, I was just about to start the car. It was several chat screenshots. Ethan and Alicia had gone from a bar to a hotel together late at night and only came out the next morning. The price negotiations fell through, so the media decided to expose it. Ethan had long been rumored to have a girlfriend within the industry, and the company suggested they go public. And Ethan agreed. Gigi, is it possible that what you couldn't let go of was just who he used to be? So my sister-in-law had known all along. She knew there was still Ethan in my heart. She knew about the stubborn front I'd been putting up. This time, I truly let go. I used to think he was just overly considerate toward Alicia, crossing emotional boundaries without realizing it. But now, he could even let someone else replace my very existence. So it turned out our 5-year relationship meant nothing to him at all. I opened WeChat and typed a message. Fabian, do you want a wife? Then deleted it. Too abrupt. The other side replied instantly with an emoji. I didn't know whether he'd seen it or not and was struggling with how to explain. When Fabian's call came through, did you bring your ID? I did. Half an hour. Meet at the Civil Affairs Bureau entrance. Fabian, are you serious? Didn't you mean you wanted to marry me? My answer is, I agree. No, Fabian, isn't this marriage a little too hasty? Miss Sue, impulsiveness is a privilege of youth. So, do you dare to gamble with me once? Gamble on your judgment. Gamble on my choice. I was already tempted. His words only pushed me further. All right, see you at the Civil Affairs Bureau. That night, to celebrate. After dinner, we moved the party to Fabian's place and drank until we dropped. Alcohol clouds judgment, and drunk people lose restraint, which just goes to show, alcohol is really not a good thing. In novels, the first night is always beautiful and romantic. Mine with Fabian was a complete disaster. Arrow on the bowstring, only to realize we were both complete beginners. The ending was chaotic and clumsy. I ran my hand from his chest down to his abs and muttered, "This body really looks good." Going further down, my mischievous hand flicked him, and I casually teased, "Looks good, but not very useful." Fabian stared at me in shock, clearly wanting to speak several times but stopping himself. In the end, he silently put on his pants and went out. That retreating figure, as broken as a puppy abandoned by its owner. I wanted nothing more than to slap myself. A beauty is a beauty no matter what. Even if he's not performing well, he's still beautiful. Facts proved that smart people learn fast. Fabian was only gone for half an hour. I, on the other hand, was thoroughly worn out by him all night long. By the time he finally let me sleep, the sky was already bright. Chapter 8. When I finally woke up, my phone had completely exploded. Some friends were checking in on me about Ethan. Others, family members, were eager to gossip about Fabian and me. I was still stuck in that foggy state after waking up. I couldn't believe that Fabian, this heaven-blessed golden boy, had actually been dragged down from his pedestal by me. "You're awake. Eat something. I've already arranged for both families to meet. We're having dinner together tonight. Fabian was clearly adapting far better than I was, which made sense. Most of last night's alcohol had gone straight into my stomach. I was the one who got drunk. I was the one who lost control after drinking. Last night's embarrassing scenes replayed vividly in my mind. I yanked the blanket up, covering my face as it instantly burned red. I'm not fully awake yet. I probably won't be able to go tonight. A soft laugh drifted over. Fabian patted my head through the blanket. Weren't you pretty bold last night? You almost had me thinking you were very experienced. That only made me more annoyed. Fabian having no relationship experience, being a total newbie, was understandable. But I'd dated for 5 years and ended up with absolutely nothing. Still, I had to defend my personal charm. How is that my fault? At the beginning, the relationship wasn't stable. By the time it was stable, our careers took off. We were busy to death every day. Barely saw each other a few times a year. Sneaking around like guerrilla warfare. Just meeting up was exhausting. Who still had the energy for romance? But that doesn't mean I'm not attractive, okay? Fabian laughed even harder. I honestly didn't know what he was so amused by. Not even a trace of that so-called aloof, untouchable flower. Spending time with Fabian was genuinely pleasant, and the family dinner that evening was equally harmonious. My family and the Wu family were old family friends. Although the elders thought our sudden marriage registration was a bit impulsive, they were still happy to see it. Fabian's mother immediately put the family heirloom jade bracelet on my wrist. The 4 elders, plus my brother and sister-in-law, seemed afraid I might regret the marriage, throwing money at me non-stop. Of course, I knew this was just their way of blessing our marriage. That style? Totally my thing. I accepted everything without hesitation. Under the table, I quietly tugged on Fabian's sleeve. He was listening intently as my parents complained about the embarrassing things my brother and I did as kids. He grabbed my hand instead and leaned slightly closer, taking advantage of the moment when no one was paying attention. I leaned in and whispered, "If I'd known getting married would turn me into a rich woman, we should have done this way earlier," completely forgetting that we had only just reunited. There was no such thing as earlier. The smile at the corner of Fabian's lips widened. So handsome, sharp brows, bright eyes, especially when he smiled. It was downright captivating. Snap out of it, little sister. Control your drooling, there's a time and place, my brother said. I turned and shot him a glare. Why are you everywhere? Sister-in-law, how did you even fall for him? My sister-in-law looked at Fabian and me with a gentle smile. At that moment, I felt indescribably grateful for my choice. A well-matched marriage. Families who knew each other inside and out. 2 families with aligned values and comparable strength. When I was young and foolish, I thought this was a cage, and chased after so-called freedom. Only after returning exhausted did I realize this was a harbor. Chapter 9. My current life has basically gone from being a freeloader supported by my brother, to a freeloader supported by my husband. The only difference is that now I have a nightlife, because Fabian still hadn't fully wrapped up matters overseas. He flew to country a few days ago. He originally wanted to take me with him, but not everyone can adapt to a life of non-stop nights and indulgence. I refused him firmly and decisively. At last, I could enjoy sleeping in alone, but there are always people who can't stand seeing others happy. When I woke up, I saw several missed calls from Amanda, along with a flood of WeChat messages. Too lazy to check WeChat, I called her back directly. Laura, have you seen the news? I'm calling to confirm with you what's true and what's false in this report, so the company knows how to handle it. What news? My voice was still hoarse from just waking up. You haven't seen it yet? Then take a look first and contact me afterward. I've sent you the link. While it hasn't completely blown up yet, let's see if we can suppress it early. Okay, I'll call you after I read it. I skimmed through it quickly. The gist was that I was juggling multiple relationships and being financially supported by several men. The accompanying photos included shots of my brother and me shopping at a mall, followed by pictures of me holding onto his arm as we walked out together. There were also photos of me seeing Fabian off to work, with Fabian holding me in his arms and kissing me. It was truly the classic formula. One photo to start with, and the rest entirely made up. I told Amanda that one man in the photos was my brother, and the other was my husband. I asked the company to contact the outlet and demand the article be taken down, or proceed with a lawsuit. Amanda agreed without hesitation. But 2 hours passed, and the company didn't even send out a lawyer's letter. When I contacted Amanda again, her tone was helpless. "Laura, it's Amanda's fault for being useless. Your contract is about to expire in a few days, and the company doesn't plan to renew it, so they don't want to deal with your situation. And also, Amanda, you know something, don't you? Amanda is a veteran agent at the company, and I've always been obedient and low maintenance, even if they didn't renew my contract. There was no need for the company to handle things this badly, so there had to be a reason. I heard Alicia is signing with our company today. She told upper management that she knows the people in those photos, and they're absolutely not your family. And I only found out today that Ethan's rumored girlfriend in the industry was you. He also assured management that you're not from a wealthy family, and that you had just had a falling out with him. There's absolutely no way you could be married. The executives think that clarifying things for you carries too much risk, so they want to let it cool down naturally. How about you just leave it for now? These things are all baseless rumors. As long as no one responds, the heat will die down quickly. It's just that your reputation might take a bit of a hit. All right. Thank you, Amanda. You don't need to handle this anymore. I'll take care of it myself. I understood Amanda's position, but I was still grateful she told me everything. It's nothing. I didn't help much anyway. Laura, don't look at the news these next few days. Things like this are hard to explain. Try to relax. After all these years working together, even knowing I definitely wouldn't renew my contract, Amanda was still worried about me. After hanging up, I started thinking about how best to handle the situation. Then the ringtone sounded again. No name saved. Just a string of numbers. I knew who it was. After all, for 5 years, I had memorized those 11 digits by heart. The moment I answered, Ethan's accusing voice came through. "Laura, what were you thinking? Having Amanda help you tell a lie that could be exposed at a glance? Good thing I was there, otherwise. Once the company really filed a lawsuit and you couldn't produce evidence, do you think the media would just let it go?" "Ethan, why are you so certain that I'm lying?" I asked, confused. "We dated for 5 years. How could I not know your family background? If you were really a rich heiress, would you not be able to afford an apartment in Beijing? Would you live in company dorms? Would you be unable to even hire an assistant and have to run to sets yourself to fight for roles? And most importantly, do you know who the person you found actually is? He's Alicia's brother, Diego from the Tulip Group." He sounded like he hated that I still refused to tell the truth, frustrated that I wouldn't wake up. "I thought you were so tough, breaking up with me, losing your job, and still not coming to me to reconcile. But in the end, you still went to look for someone else." "Laura, since you were going to beg anyway, why didn't you come beg me? You knew very well, if you just lowered your head, I would help you. Resources, money, I could give you all of it. Yes, everything except a title. Why didn't I go to him? Because I knew, once I lowered my head this time, he would make me lower it countless times in the future. This was something I had figured out through our endless arguments. And do you know that because of this mess, you ruined Alicia's dream of breaking into the entertainment industry quietly without relying on her family? Now the company executives all know she's the Nan family's eldest daughter. You should apologize to Alicia Nan. Let her ask President Nan to come forward and help clarify things for you. President Nan hasn't made a move at all so far. That just proves he doesn't care about you." People really do laugh when they're utterly speechless. I couldn't listen anymore and interrupted him. "Ethan, every word you say sounds like you're thinking for my sake. Like you're doing this all for me. But when you handed my resources over to someone else, did you ever think about me? When you stayed alone in a hotel with Alicia for an entire night, did you ever think about me? When you took the love story that belonged to you and me and pasted it onto you and Alicia for your public announcement, did you ever think about me? You hurt me again and again, ignored me again and again, and now you're using the banner of doing this for my own good to lecture me? If you truly cared about me, why do you believe Alicia's words instead of mine? Is it that only she is allowed to hide her identity and struggle in the entertainment industry, while I'm not?" There was silence on the other end for a moment, followed by a sigh. "Laura, why are you always so stubborn, and always targeting Alicia? Do you know, ever since she found out, she's been urging me to persuade you not to lie over this. Once it's exposed, the one who'll be humiliated in the end is you. At that moment, I finally understood how foolish it is to explain yourself to someone who doesn't believe you. Maybe I just wasn't willing to accept it. Unwilling to accept that the person I once loved so sincerely had already become unrecognizable. I said goodbye. Cold and distant. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, my youth. Chapter 10. People have an enormous curiosity about scandals and gossip. In just one morning, the news shot straight to the top of the trending list. Someone dug up that the man in the first few photos was the boss of Tulip Group, and that he was married. As for the man in the later photos, although his identity couldn't be uncovered, his looks were outstanding, so people started guessing that he was a gigolo I was keeping. Public opinion spiraled out of control. The comments below said everything imaginable. Laura hasn't really blown up these past few years, but her resources are decent. Why would she throw herself away like this? Knowingly becoming a mistress? The person upstairs, how do you know where her resources came from? Didn't they say this man is the CEO of Tulip Group? Aren't they afraid his wife will find out after this blows up? And he's letting his mistress use his money to raise a gigolo, doesn't he know? Can someone like that really be a company president? These wealthy families are all about arranged marriages. Everyone plays their own game. Besides, being a CEO isn't that hard, just know how to order people around. The company was inherited anyway, not built from scratch. But still, getting cheated on and having it exposed to everyone is truly embarrassing. I'll say this timidly, doesn't anyone think both men are super handsome? One looks roguish, the other cold and aloof. Laura is really eating well. Huh? Occasionally, a comment like this would appear, but it was quickly drowned out. Most of the comments were negative, many of them downright disgusting. I lurked in the comments section like a spectator eating melon. It had only been half a day. There would probably be another wave of attention. Sure enough, not long after, Alicia liked a comment speculating that I would use the excuse of a relative or friend for PR, then quickly unliked it. Soon after, someone claiming to be in the know posted, "The CEO of Tulip Group's surname is Nan, and it said he really does have a younger sister in the entertainment industry. She's just been kept very well hidden and never reported on." Netizens instantly turned into Sherlock Holmes. Not only did they notice Alicia's slip of the finger, they also dug up photos of the two of us chatting happily at a gala before. Most importantly, they both had the surname Nan, a very rare surname. So everyone began tagging Alicia Nan. Amid the netizens' constant calls, Alicia reposted that photo. Caption: "Family background isn't important. Character is what matters most. Please focus on actors' works, not their private lives." She seemed to say nothing, yet also seemed to say everything. The exact meaning was left for everyone to interpret. They thought I was just a nobody, now abandoned by my company, someone they could squeeze however they liked. They forgot one thing: fake things are fake, no matter what. I called a media friend I knew well. That confirmed that the person pushing everything behind the scenes was Alicia. Affairs like being kept or cheating, as long as no party comes out with solid proof, are all just rumors. There's no real, substantial damage, but they're extremely hard to clarify, like accidentally swallowing a fly, disgusting. Yet there's nothing you can do about it. But why should I cut myself open just to prove my innocence? When it comes to rumors, there's clearly a much easier way to suppress them. I called my brother's executive assistant. "Assistant Joe, please contact all major media outlets. I want every piece of negative news about Alicia since her debut to be released, everything. Also notify the PR department. 10 minutes from now, we'll hold an online meeting. I'll explain my specific requirements for all employees involved in this matter. I'll personally give them an extra bonus for this month. Sorry to trouble you." "Understood, miss. I'll arrange it immediately." The best way to suppress one piece of news is to break an even bigger one. And compared to my story, just a few photos, Alicia's would clearly be more worth watching. Since her debut, Alicia's resources had always been good, and she quickly squeezed into the ranks of top young actresses. At first, there were many rumors too. Later, it spread that she was a Shanghai socialite heiress, and she built a rich second-generation persona. I'd even been curious before, because prior to entering the entertainment industry, I really had never seen her. After thinking for a moment, I still sent my dad a WeChat message. I asked tactfully, "Dad, you're sure you don't have any illegitimate daughters outside, right?" What I got in return was dozens of voice messages from him, bombarding me. I didn't dare open them. I tossed my phone onto the living room sofa and went into the study to attend the meeting. After gradually assigning all the tasks, I left the professional matters to the professionals. Just as I found my phone again, my sister-in-law's call came through. "Go rein in your brother. He's gone completely crazy." That was when I learned that my brother had taken control of the group's official account and was single-handedly battling a whole crowd of netizens. "Did he win?" I asked. "How could he lose?" She said, "Every time he finishes flaming someone, the company's legal team immediately follows up with a lawyer's letter." Her tone was both helpless and amused. "He's like he's been injected with chicken blood. The entire legal department is probably working overtime tonight." Thinking about my brother's track record growing up, I figured he wouldn't suffer any losses. I comforted my sister-in-law. "No rush. Let him keep flaming them for a while. I'll go eat some melon first." My brother doesn't have Instagram. He probably couldn't even be bothered to register. Using the official account, he reposted the news. "This is my sister. Same parents." Then he reposted Alicia Nan's post. "Who the hell are you? You think sharing the surname Nan means you can speak on behalf of the Nan family?" After that came a flood of replies to netizens' comments, mainly targeting those who claimed his marriage was just for show. I finally understood my sister-in-law's helplessness. Under the banner of clearing my name, my brother was showing off his love everywhere. But his combat power was truly terrifying. Not only did he flame people for hours on end, cursing without using a single swear word was basic skill, never repeating a single line. That made him a true master. I casually reposted his first post. Indeed, he shares my dad's surname, and I share my mom's. I originally didn't want to involve family, but since my brother had openly gone on the attack, I had to give him some moral support. When I looked up again, I realized how fast time had passed. Outside the window, the sky was already filled with stars. I suddenly missed Fabian so much. I wondered what he would think when he woke up and discovered he'd been kept. He'd probably raise an eyebrow and say, "My honor." I hadn't noticed it before. But now, alone in an empty room, the loneliness made my longing overflow. My phone kept ringing. Ethan's, Amanda's, the company's, even Alicia's. I let it ring again and again, hanging up each time. After tonight, they probably wouldn't have the time to come looking for me anyway. In the end, I only sent Fabian one message. "I'm coming to find you. Wait for me." Chapter 11. Fabian didn't ask me anything. He simply compressed a week's worth of work into 3 days, then spent the next few days going wild with me. By the time we returned home, Alicia's situation was basically coming to an end. It was dug up that she had bullied classmates back when she was in school, and that when she first entered the industry, she stole her best friend's boyfriend. Later, she hooked up with married men, switching sugar daddies one after another in exchange for resources. Every single incident was uncovered. Her acting career was essentially over. As for Ethan, because of their previous official announcement, the public had long seen the two of them as a package deal. Not only did his attempt at transforming his career fail, even his current glory couldn't be preserved. Someone as proud and ambitious as him, who had once stood at the peak, how could he possibly resign himself to an ordinary life in the end? The two of them ultimately left behind nothing but a mess. I asked Fabian, "Do you think I went too far?" He was working in the study. Hearing this, he looked up at me. After thinking for a moment, he asked instead, "Do you pity her?" I thought about it and shook my head. She humiliated me first and then schemed against me afterward. I was merely fighting back. There was no reason for me to offer my right cheek after someone slapped my left. Fabian turned around and pulled me into his arms. "Then it means you care about my opinion." "Gigi, do you know why I never asked you about this from the start? I understand your personality, consulted your strategy, and agreed with your counterattack. What I like is the independent you, not the you who depends on me." In my eyes, decisively fighting back when something happens, instead of crying and seeking shelter, is exactly where your charm lies. And I don't think you went overboard. An adult has to be responsible for their own actions. If she could do this to you, there's no guarantee she hadn't done the same to others before. Fabian's analysis was spot on. This really wasn't Alicia's first time smearing someone like this. That was why she collapsed so thoroughly this time. In the entertainment industry, many people will use every possible means just to become famous. Yet they forget that those who truly stay popular for a long time rely on their character. I buried my head in Fabian's chest and told him, "Fabian, I want to quit the entertainment industry." He asked me, "Is it because of me?" I shook my head, realizing he couldn't see. I explained aloud, "I used to think being a celebrity was dazzling, being loved by so many people. Being an actor was also interesting, you get to experience different lives. But now, I suddenly realize that in truth, ordinariness is the essence of life, and I've lost my passion for my current profession. I want to try something else." Fabian lifted my chin and kissed my cheek. "All right, just remember, work, for you, isn't for survival, but for love. In our family, having just one person who works hard to make money for a living is enough." I burst out laughing. "You call that working to survive? Forget others. If my brother heard this, he'd beat you up." "How is it not? My childhood dream was to travel the world with you, to experience different scenery and cuisines." I looked at him thoughtfully. So many of Fabian's plans included me, as if he had always known I would become his wife. Or perhaps, in his plans, his wife could only ever be me. Yet in the past, we clearly weren't close. To me, he was just an older brother from another prominent family, an outstanding, handsome older brother from a prestigious family who often came to see my brother. But from the very first reunion, his affection for me had been blatant, growing unchecked. But that was fine. We still had plenty of time. I would slowly uncover everything. Right now, I just wanted to tell him, "Fabian, have I ever told you that I love you?" "You have. You said it many times last night. Want me to help you remember again, MMM?" I covered my forehead, blushing, and hurried to cover his mouth. "That doesn't count. Things said in bed don't count. Honestly, he's banned from hanging out with my brother from now on. Extra, Fabian, I have someone I've loved since I was young. She is sunny and cheerful, confident and radiant. I never told anyone. I admired her deeply. I only waited for her to grow up, believing that once she did, I would go and ask for her hand in marriage. Unfortunately, fate likes to toy with people. I was still one step too late. I thought we would become strangers from then on, yet I saw her message on WeChat, saying she was going on a blind date. On impulse, I returned to the country, until I saw her again, bickering with Diego. In that moment, memories from my youth overlapped with the scene before my eyes. I pressed a hand over my heart, which was beating out of rhythm, and let the joy inside me spill out of my chest as laughter. So it turns out, time only made me grow up. It never once wore away my love for her.